One of the things that's unsettling.
Three, two, one, and we're live. Yay! Morning. Good afternoon. Look, y'all see Bella in the corner. Good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, my segment where I share with you headlines from my personal news feed. Peace, Miss Kendra. Where I share with you headlines from my personal news feed, and then we just kick it about what the headlines mean to us. Some of us may. I was just thinking about you, big head. You trying to call me big head, big hef? My head is actually proportionately very small to most people's heads, believe it or not. I know it's hard to tell. We talk about, hey, big head. So we talk about the headlines, the article, the subject matter at large. If we've read the article, if we've skimmed the article, if we saw a video on the article or whatever. But it's not designed to be an in-depth analysis of the news, but more of a survey of what's going on in the world, and an attempt to synthesize and get the songs of what a guan. Peace, RDB Fresh. What's up? So we start off with a couple of things. We're going to jump into the Nguzo Saba for today. So when I say Habaragani, you say what the principle is today. What was it yesterday? Yesterday it was collective work and responsibility, Ujima. See, now we starting to learn these things. We cycling through, we know. So what is it today? I don't know. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do what up, though, Buddha, and then we're going to jump right into the notes on the news. So let us proceed. We want to frame up this conversation about the news headlines so we don't leave here just depressed and broke down. All right. So, Nguzo Saba. Habaragani. 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 So yesterday was Ujima. Send for me. So today is Ujima, and Ujima is cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores and other businesses and to profit from them together. To build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. So what are you doing today to build your business, to build businesses in your community? What are you doing today to maintain your business? Mind your business. How are you minding your business today? Together. So when your business thrives, how is that a benefit to your community? How is that a benefit to anybody outside of your personal pocket? I don't know what that means. Nobody does, Kendra. Nobody does. I'm just joking. Somebody does. All right. So Ujima Cooperative Economics. Ujima Cooperative Economics. And what up though? Yo, Buddha. What up though? Learn this from the waters. In mountain clefts and chasms, loud gush and streamlets, learn this from the waters. In mountain clefts and chasms, loud gush the streamlets, but great rivers flow silently. So y'all heard that this is still waters run deep. No, that's not the right expression. But basically it's like all of that, So learn this from the waters. In mountains and clefts and chasms, loud gush the streamlets, but great rivers flow silently. Shh, shh, hush, shh. Be quiet. It's okay. Just be quiet. Be quiet and let yourself be great. We ain't got to do all that. Look, as I do that. All right. Let us proceed with the notes on the news feed. I might have to put the AC on because it's kind of warm today. I went down to the river. I had a walk this morning. I love the Detroit River. I had a nice walk. Detroit to get another major first run movie theater. So we have in the city, you can't see a first run. Can you see? I'm not really a fan of the suburbs. I like to shop and support the city. Um, so, oh no, there's one movie theater in Detroit, and it's Far East. That's where I went to see Black Panther. Um, so they're talking about putting some Midtown. That's like right in my area. Big Sean, I think he's a rapper or something. I think I had heard about him, and now there's another company where you can get beer and food brought to your seat. They're supposed to be coming here. I forget the name of them. But anyway, in your city, do you live in the cities or the suburbs? Do you have theaters and resources and restaurants and things in your city, or everything out in the suburbs? You have to go out to the suburbs to have any type of, I don't even know if I consider the movie social life anymore. I do like a good movie, but all right. Detroit, oh, we talked about that. Making businesses democratic, the cooperative group gives Detroiters avenues for collective organization. In Philly, I'm in Philly, and everything is in the city. hmm I was only in like every time I went to Philly, it was like with a particular friend, and we would like go to the grocery store. Like I never really got like a good sense of Philly when I was in Philly. We go to the store in her neighborhood and eat, and I don't know. That's just like Toronto. Until when I lived there for a couple of months, I started to explore the city. But before that, I was there all the time, every year, and it was just like in my little, just like Dallas. I go to Dallas every year for a conference for the most part. But until I made an effort to get out to the city, call my cousins in Dallas, be like, okay, the conference is over. I got 2-3 hours before I got to be at the airport. Let's go. I want to go here. I want to go there. Where you think I should go? I still don't really. Well, we went there for a family, but anyway, it's easy to not know a city. So okay, so Philly, that sounds good. Um, so cooperative businesses, is anybody here a member of a credit union? My first job out of college, I worked at a community development credit union. So the field of membership, the way credit unions usually work, if you don't know, is there's a field of membership. I think when I was growing up, my church had a credit union. You had to be a member of the church to be a member of it, but they didn't really do any programming for young people. So it was kind of like outside of my experience. But when I worked in a credit union, oh, you're a member of a credit union. When I worked in a credit union, I ran the youth program, and I helped them to develop the youth program. So it was all about engaging young people. Credit union for nearly 20 years. So you're familiar with sort of cooperative organizations. The next cooperative organization that I was a part of is a food co-op in Brooklyn. The fort is Park Slope Food Co-op. So I was a member of the Slope Food Co-op, and it's fully member run, or it was at that time, and it was the largest member run co-op in the country. A lot of co-ops you just pay money and you don't have to work, but this co-op you actually had to work in order to get the discounted food. And I worked like by the time I left, my job was to serve on the board. And before that, my job was to facilitate meetings and coordinate meeting, or, the board, like not the board meetings, but the membership meetings. So we had like a team of folks who facilitated, but everybody who was a member, you don't see Bella, you see her nose. She just looked this way. You see her ear. Let her get some shine. She's all shine. That's all she get. I see her nose. That's her ear. Oh, her nose, her eye. She can tell we're talking about her. So the food co-op was a second cooperative organization that I was a part of. And because I'm a vegetarian, it was kind of interesting because I didn't know, for example, how much the markup was on health foods, like particularly vitamins. Peekabella. Particularly vitamins. So if like there is like vitamins are marked up like 500% or 5,000% or something like that. So being in a co-op where everything was basically 10%, markup, some stuff you're like, why is it so expensive? And other stuff you're like, oh, it's so cheap, because that's just how, the co-op worked, and it was all member run. So there is, and in Jackson, they were trying to do they were trying to get more cooperatives in the city and get more of a cooperative movement going in the city. And they were about to have a big regional national conference on cooperative businesses when Baba made his transition, who was the mayor, and now Chokwe Lumumba, and now his son is the mayor. And so I was really, really excited about this whole cooperative movement, because I feel like when the people own it, it makes there are things about it that make sense, and it's for the people as opposed to for somebody's profit, you know. I've never been involved with a co-op where there were issues or problems, but I know there was a food co-op here in Detroit, and I shopped at it a few times, but then by the time I came back, it had dissolved, and they say that the board members had taken money. I don't know what happened, but I heard all kinds of stories. But I'm still a fan of cooperative businesses and cooperative endeavors. I feel like we have to figure out and learn how to work together and benefit from, and profit together from what we do. Ujamaa, I feel like that's Ujamaa. If not us, who? Hey, if not us, who? If not now, when? If not there, where? So in your community, I was just talking about the Park Slope Food Co-op and cooperative businesses. I don't know if you remember I don't even know if that's a co-op still exists, but thank you for the flower. Okay. So there's some group, the cooperation group gives Detroiters avenues for collective organization, or ownership. So they're trying to do some organizing here in Detroit around cooperatives. So I was just really excited to see that. And the guy, what was his name? B. Anthony. I met B. Anthony at something. So now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll go and, try to get involved somehow, because it's close. It's in, it's right here. So I don't know, like I have time to be getting involved with anything. But I am passionate about cooperatives. June 12th, 1964, Nelson Mandela sentenced to life imprisonment. Right. Well, that was basically a white piece anyway, the food co-op. I mean, it was integrated, but it was, yeah. Yeah. I liked the food. I liked it. Nelson Mandela sentenced to life imprisonment. I didn't read the article, I just skimmed it. But they talked about the fact that he was not sentenced to death. So that was sort of interesting. And also this concept of being sentenced to life and being, I guess some things, if you sentence me to life of BS, I might rather be sentenced to death, but I don't know. Because I guess I still always have this thing of like, well, what if things turn around? Who here remembers him dying in prison? He didn't die in prison. You think the spirit of Nelson Mandela died in prison? I wonder about that sometimes when people are locked up and they come out and they have a different vibe. I remember him coming to Detroit when he was, I guess, was released. And my mother signed me up to be a volunteer. And she's like, this is a historic moment. You're going to remember this forever. And I was kind of like, and I was kind of surprised. He died in prison and had a funeral. Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela ended up being the president of South Africa. Was he imprisoned after he was released from this life sentence? I was surprised when he died again. Is that like a typo? Now I'm like, am I confused about who? I thought I knew who Nelson Mandela was. I thought I knew the story. I believe there was a clone running through the country. I don't remember when he died. Well, I never remember that. I never heard about that. Okay, I'm not even going to read the article because I'm not familiar with the clone concept with Mandela. But I do often think sometimes when these people, like there was a brother from the Black Panthers who went into jail, and when he came out, people are like, he was a whole different person. He was wilder. He was he just had a whole different vibration. So I don't know if he was cloned, if he was beat, if they operated on his brain, if they drugged him, if they threatened him. Um, wow, I've never even heard the term the Mandela effect. I've heard of Stockholm syndrome. I'll have to research that maybe. I shouldn't say I'll have to, but maybe I'll research that. The Farmers Improvement Society of Texas. It's coming, it's coming. The Farmers Improvement Society was founded in hopes of abolishing the sharecropping and credit system that ensnared poor farmers. The society wanted to encourage home and farm ownership, promote promote crop diversification, and improve farming methods, help with health benefits, and encourage networking among other business leaders. Founded in 1890 by Robert Lloyd Smith, the organization was established as the Farmers Association for African Americans. In 1898, that was 9 years later, the society had over 1,500 members, and had 86 locations, including branches in Arkansas, or I like to say Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. In addition to the cooperative business it established, Ujamaa Cooperative Economics. We were just talking about cooperatives. It established the Farmers Improvement Agricultural College at Wolf City in 1906, and to implement the overall program, the Farmers Bank at Waco in 1911. Waco is in Texas, huh? In 1912, the membership owned 75,000 acres of land, which had a value of over $1 million. The society often sponsored agricultural fairs to demonstrate the effectiveness of its program. By 1920, the society was declining, but for 20 years, it helped elevate business leaders and help them to reach the next level of their career. Peace, what's up? All right, so Habaragani, Ujamaa, that's what we're talking about today. Okay. Trump Kim Summit. Miss Chan, y'all know he's so deep, he usually really gets into the meat of things and into the substance of things. So it was really surprising and shocking. Did y'all hear how much money they've made? The president's daughter and the president's daughter's husband. Did y'all hear? This is just the amount that somehow, that's been reported, or I don't know how somebody got this information. But it came across, I heard the Zero jabbered on about this in the Korean Peninsula. Right, I saw a picture of the beaches. They were like, there's a little known feature, in North Korea. And of course, he's a Zionist, that husband. And of course, Zero being focused on, his agenda, what he does and how he can profit. That's his, it was so shocking because usually he's here for the people. I was just so confused. So Ivanka and Jared earned $82 million in outside income in their first year as unpaid senior advisors to the president. Disclosure forms cited by U.S. media say. And I feel like they seem to have some challenges filling out these disclosure forms. So I believe that if they disclose at $82 billion, how much do you think that they actually made? I know, Brother Iapo, it's shocking. This is probably fake news. I don't believe that. Rush to save Indian bird with beak shut by plastic ring. So the bird, it's like a little bitty oh, Bella's so cute. It's a little bitty thing. It's just small enough. We are all speechless. That's why I just moved on to the next thing, because it's ironic that a republic founded on liberty, equality, and natural rights would have the institution of slavery. Right. And when the republic was founded, and the people who were founding the republic and eradicating, killing, murdering the people who were here and stealing their land, had folks enslaved. It's so ironic, the irony. It's so confusing. Actually, it is confusing. I mean, I feel like I'm just now starting. It's barbaric. I feel like I'm just now starting to like come to some like, wait a second. Like I feel like I bought into a lot of the ideals, and I feel like a lot of times when we have the conversation, we're like, this country is supposed to be about freedom. It's like I still think that a lot of us, it's hard to be conscious. Like, who is it? Is it Du Bois who spoke about the double consciousness that Black folks have? And I don't know if he talked about it in this context, but it's sort of like I feel like I have bought into things as an American, like the American propaganda. And then I have another consciousness as a Black person. And I know that there's like some conflict between the truth of my experience and my people's experience as Black folks or brown folks or whatever, and what the propaganda says. I know it's like it does not reconcile. But I'm just triple consciousness. But hey, Sonia, I was going to ask about you, but I was like, well, maybe I'll get a chance to go on some things today, because I'm like, I haven't seen you. And it seems like it's been so long, although it's probably only been like 3 or 4 days. I have time dysplasia or something. Is dysplasia the right term? From being on YouTube, my sense of proportionality and stuff has changed. Like I got issues. I have like issues, because I was like, it hasn't been that long. But this morning I said to my mother, I haven't seen Sonia C's in a long time. I wonder what happened. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, it really hasn't been that long. Something's wrong. Peace, Rod. So yeah, we had, like all of this, or when we're like, the police are there to protect and serve. And it's like, no, they're not. They're there to protect and serve the elite ruling class. The police have never been there for the people. No, it's been long. The duality and duplicity are truly difficult to deal with. I found that the way I lost my duality was by totally letting go of certain things in society. Totally letting go, separating. Hey, fam. So look, this is the image of the bird, and you can see the little bitty plastic ring. The bird can't, oh yeah, you can see it good. The bird can't eat. It's a rare bird. It's called the black-necked stork. Oh, I remember seeing storks down south. Indian wildlife enthusiasts and forest officials have been trying to rescue a rare bird whose beak has been trapped shut by a plastic ring. Damn that plastic. Damn it. Oh, to hell, may all the plastic burn in the pits of hell. The black-necked stork was first spotted with the ring around its beak in a wetland outside the capital, Delhi, by a group of bird watchers on 7 June. They believe the bird can drink water, but say the ring is preventing it from opening its beak further to eat. You don't want to earn it so firmly that it cracks in your hand. It's a delicate balance. You know how they say, gotta break. So I'm like, I guess being silly. So anyway, that was that bird. So prayers out that bird and all the birds and animals and humans and the eggs to make omelet. I don't know why I'm talking about eggs. Just ignore me. Oh, you know what it is? Yesterday I was feeling so bad, and today I feel like a human being again. Who was one of the involved with the development of plastics? He was a chemist. He died of cancer. He told me I told y'all he thought it was related to the plastic when he started getting sick, and I always thought it was too. I didn't want to tell him when I found out that he had cancer. That's what I wanted to say, but that's not really a nice thing to say. So, yeah, but he brought it up. It's kind of like. When you do certain work, even if you're working in the abstract part of it, the abstract part has practical applications. And that's the reason why these corporations sponsor this abstract work that scientists do, so that they can create things like plastic to make a profit. And so it's sort of like, it's deep to be a part of something, like for your work to be a part of, hurting people in the world, yeah. And I always think like, well, if like if you work advertising Cheetos, or like, it seems like there's so much work in society that's like, not really about anything, not really adding any value, and probably hurting. It seems like a lot of us do work that like is harmful. I gotta go to work. I love y'all. Oh, bye. COG Quest Ion, aka. Hey, I'm gonna go see a piece on Guevara. I gotta lock it in my calendar. I want to see it. I hope I get to see it. Peace. Have fun at work. Be blessed and be a blessing. Okay. Germany recalls contaminated Dutch eggs in fipronil scare. So I was kind of like, well, what's fipronil? And I just hit the article, and it seems that fipronil is a pesticide. So I don't know if the concern is that when you crack the egg, the pesticide will get inside, or if the pesticide has already penetrated. The shell is it's not, even though it holds the yolk and stuff inside, it is permeable. You know what I mean? So I don't know, what the deal is. What doesn't make any sense is so contradictory. I missed all of that. So, just in this whole idea of you want me to make a part 3 shout out? Sure. They say what the word that everybody loves in the English language the most, or in their language, Black people work within the prison system. It's like so many systems that we work in. It's like you almost don't want to think too deeply about what you're doing sometimes, because, it connects to their name. It's like the things are connected. Good things come in threes, and it's like if the neck bone, how does that go? The neck bones connect to the dump bone connected to the, like things are connected. I might have gotten into chicken feed. The word people love to hear the most is their own name. That's what I was about to. Yes, who wouldn't? I don't know. I don't know if I love to hear my name that much. I don't know. But for everybody else, I'm about to. Good afternoon, Rowdy Chica. Okay. So, and yeah, just thinking about like these pesticides, like, here these are like big houses on small lots. So like my neighbor next door, they put like chemicals on their lawn. So I try to like, not walk on their lawn, not let Bella walk on their lawn. But of course, in the rain and the wind, like we right here, like I'm exposed to it. And when I see the chemical people out there spraying, I like hold my breath. I try not to be outside. When I lived down south, these trucks would come. The first person we look for is ourselves. And these trucks would come and they would have these chemicals spraying out the back to kill the mosquitoes. And I guess they did it on a regular basis, probably like once a week, but it would always like, when I would see them, I would try to avoid them and not agree. I don't agree with that, RDB Fresh. I would try to avoid them and not inhale the chemicals as if the chemicals weren't there all the time. Because we really had very little mosquitoes, although down south where there were these black and white mosquitoes. Does anybody know about that? Normal kind of mosquito. Was it for the West Nile virus scare? I don't know. I think that down south, they just don't want to have mosquitoes. And so they spray the chemicals because they're down south. I think it's just like another market for chemicals. I don't think it was for a scare. I think it was just like their normal. Shaking my head. Poison. Right. I think it's just part of the normal system of poisonation and chemicals. But thank you. Okay. Kim Trunk's summit. North Korea state TV not airing summit news. That's interesting to me. I don't know why. Maybe they want to get their story together and then put it put it out the way that they want to put it out to specifically advance their agenda, they don't have to report in real time because nobody really necessarily knows what's going on. So I guess that's why they're not reporting in real time. Oh, maybe I'll turn the car off. I have all the windows open. Why do I have the car on? I'm just wasting gas. Living with neighborhood violence may shape teens' brains. This is coming off the Grio. May? Heck, why should they be different from anyone else? Who, the North Koreans? I think that living with violence definitely shapes your brain. I think living with love shapes your brain. I think all of our experience shape our brain. If they really don't want to have mosquitoes, all they got to do is breed bats. A particular species of bats eats hundreds of mosquitoes a night. Yes, the mosquitoes. Yeah. There's this book we read for book club about 2 or 3 years ago, called The Feed. It's a young adult book, and I always recommend it to everybody because I think about it all the time. But one of the most significant scenes, and I ended up bringing it from the book club from the library. That trauma is still in our veins, and new trauma is added every day. I ended up bringing it from the library book club to my personal book club, and there's like this one part where the community, the city, the state, the government, or whatever, is chopping down trees because they need to build a factory. You know what kind of factory they need to build? An air factory. Y'all know that the trees create. And there's this one little girl who's like the main character, and she's like trying to explain to people that the trees, that's what generates the air. But everybody thinks it's just crazy what she's saying. They don't want to hear it. They think it's ridiculous. Yes, irony again. But that's like, I think that's like how a lot of society is. Like, this stuff that's supposed to solve the problems creates what are they on Mars? No, it's in the United States, but it's like years later. I told you about it because it's called The Feed, and it's I think I want to read it again. But it's like, they're like, remember when people used to carry their computers outside of their body like it was a purse or something? They have the whole system is integrated. So when they're born or very early on, they get their phone, computer, whatever installed in them. You can have conversations with people in your brain. You can see commercials scroll against your eyes, but like inside of your head. I love to have a book club. I love a book club. I'm trying to integrate y'all into my book club. What are we? I don't have a book we read now. It's called it's a good book. It's nonfiction, and it's light, and it's small. It's quick reading, and it's good. I need to read. Reading is fundamental. So yeah, like, the pesticide, like a lot of this stuff is like, if you look at it, it's like a loop, like, or not, it's not really a loop. It's like an open, like one link leads to another link, leads to another link, leads to another link, leads to another link. It's like giving a person a concussion because they need more rest. I missed it. But it's like, you take the domino effect, right? You take, I have, cancer or whatever. So I'm taking this treatment or this chemical, and this treatment and this chemical jack me up in this way. So I have to take this other treatment and this other chemical, and it jack me, and it's like, it's just where if you just kind of unnecessary BS, it's unnecessary BS. So yeah, I don't think this is like a new conversation about, or a new revelation about, neighborhood violence shaping teens' brains. I think everything shapes our brains. And so I think it's really important for those of us, as much as we can, when we're dealing with young people and, like in our communities, like how are we shaping fixing everything but the actual, and not really fixing things. It seems like you're just creating more. But how are we feeding, ourselves, and how are we feeding our communities, and how are we shaping our brains, and what are we putting into our veins and our DNA? Bum Bia DI do it yourselves. Hi, Bum. Is that right? Boom Dia? I don't know. I didn't catch it, but welcome. How are we shaping, what is our action, what is our contribution, and how is it I should have said addressing everything but not fixing the right problem. Bumbia. Bumbia? Bumbia. Bumbia? Bumblebee? B, short for Beatrice. Okay. Hi, B. I heard that years ago. It essentially has to do with neurological effects of stress. But what about the neurological effects of love? What about the neurological effects of support? What about the neurological effects of, um, what? Let's like that's what I'm like. I like, yeah. Sometimes when I read a headline that like that, it's like, oh my gosh, the babies are being exposed to violence and it's jacking us up for generations to come. And ever do the Rice experiment? No, I'm not familiar with the Rice experiment. And so I'm trying to think about it in terms of, using that information and how can you use that productively? How can you use it in a way that adds values? I think COG is gone, Rowdy Chica. He said he had to go to work. Change brain chemical and morph. Change brain. I'm back. Are you still here? Dennis Rodman bashes Obama, praises Trump, and cries during bizarre CNN interview. 2 containers of rice speak love and positive energy to one and negative words and energy to the other. The one with negativity. I'm not familiar with that, but I'm familiar modes more quickly. I'm familiar with there's a sort of similar experience. For every action there's a reaction. There was a similar experiment that I understand was done with water, where someone was like, "Hey, the devil, Adolf Hitler," and then they into some other water they were like, "Love, peace, happiness," and they froze it, and then the water crystals were symmetrical or beautiful for some of the water and like chaotic, and I don't know if they were ugly, but it just seemed like the certain words. And since we're so much water, I actually use that in my ritual. I use that in my same concept. I use that in my rituals and came to understand that in the work that I do with people, that, yeah, we have to pay attention to what we speak into ourselves, what we from stress to positive emotions, to sleep, to diet, to EMPs, et cetera, et cetera. What's EMP? And so just being really, or trying to be more and more increasingly, aware of, what we're creating. And, you might not be able to electromagnetic pulse. Oh, so I'm not going to say anything about old crazy, but Denny Rod, we gonna keep it moving. Because remember, didn't the Buddha told us, just be quiet. Air Force investigates white woman bragging about going NIGGER hunting. So I guess she is a member of the Air Force, and my goodness, look at all that beautiful brown deliciousness. Thank you. So I don't know if she's hey sniper. I left Rodman back in the 90s. I did too. I think around 89, 88 when the Pistons were three-peating. I'm like, Dennis Rodman is cuckoo crazy. I'm not a fan. I liked Isaiah Thomas. I don't know what's Isaiah Thomas doing now. Would I still like him? I think he's involved with basketball on the other side, right? So I don't know, like we're just increasingly. So I want to just pause on that story because I want to loop back to it, because there's another headline that I think kind of fits into the conversation we've been having about these types of incidents, and like how public and virulent and just bold and empowered people are feeling to express certain things and say certain things, and it almost seems like there's some advantage to them for coming out like this. They coming out letting they so they can find each other. That's how it feels. Amazon workers in Minnesota complain of workplace conditions. This was interesting because we have a bunch of Amazon places right here. I think they're in Detroit or in the Detroit area. And I don't think I know anybody who works with Amazon. workers at an Amazon facility in Eagan, Minnesota, and Minnesota is in the Midwest, are not too happy. In fact, they recently held a press conference talking about how horrible work conditions are. And this is when we talk about collectivism and cooperative economics and working together, and workers working together. This is important. So they held a press conference that shows there's some most of the workers are East African employees, and they have asked the online giant to improve conditions. The news conference was organized by A Wood Center, which defends the rights of East African workers. I didn't even know there was a large East African community in Waterall. Sniping with absolute facts. Oh, I never really thought about that name, Water Sniper. The employees allege they have experienced it. I didn't know there was a large East African community in Minnesota. Yes, a large African community up there. It's so much you don't know, like writing your own. You be like, oh, like, because sometimes you drive around and you be like, I'm like, oh, like I told y'all when I was up for the saline thing, Somalis. Oh, when I was up for the saline treatment, that I came across this, which was a vegan Indian street food restaurant. I'm like, if that ain't a niche, I don't know what is. Because you can have all kinds of Indian food that's not street food. You can have all kinds of Indian food that's not vegan. Because in India, they use in my experience, they use a lot of dairy. During the heat waves of last year, people were passing out, and instead of installing air conditions, they posted ambulances outside of the building. So for all of those people, like when we're dealing, and that's again when we were talking earlier about connections and like, the chain link. It's like when you support Amazon Prime, it's like it's all connected to this corporation that I didn't know. I haven't really paid too much attention to Amazon. I know that there was a whole conversation because Detroit was bidding to try to get the Amazon to contractor to get Amazon headquarters here. And then I started seeing a whole bunch of articles about how when Amazon came into communities, it seems similar to the effect that Walmart has, where small businesses, kind of like small businesses go out of business. They kind of import certain things. You think it's going to be all of this money that's going to come to the community, but it actually ends up, instead of enriching the community, there's an argument to be made that it impoverishes the community. What up, T-Rack? And so, that's the only thing I paid attention, moving their headquarters from Seattle, because the referendum recently passed in the city to be taxed $500 per employee toward fighting homelessness. Their drivers wear diapers because they are unable to stop for bathroom breaks. Well, that's consistent with this story. These people are saying exhaustion, dehydration, and injuries while working without air conditioning. Particularly difficult for Muslim workers who are celebrating Ramadan and observing a strict, it wasn't well known to me, sir. Tag on it, maybe somebody else don't know. This isn't the first time, here you go, that Amazon employees at this facility have complained. During the last 2 months, it received more than a dozen complaints from Amazon workers, including about work being done by individuals that used to be done by teams. That's like when they fire one person, or they, you work in some place and they trying to have you do 2 or 3 people's jobs for the same money you were getting before, or a little bit more, or they might want to be trying to pay you less. So it's been investigated twice before Department of Labor Industry. And then these Department of Labor Industry and these government agencies that are supposed to advocate on behalf of workers or protect workers, they're defunded. They don't have any teeth or any ability to, what they gonna do? Who gonna check? Amazon is like, who gonna check me, boo? I'm Amazon. Who are you? Oh, the federal government? They don't care nothing about that. In response to complaints, Amazon spokesperson Ernesto Apreza told the AP that the company provides a positive and accommodating workplace. Amazon warehouses, here you go, Yapo, across the country have had problems and complaints. In recent years, reports have emerged about difficult working conditions at Amazon's warehouses, including deaths at 2 warehouses in 2014. The company came under fire in 2011 for extreme heat in his warehouses that caused heat-related injuries. Amazon said that it took emergency actions during the heat wave and subsequently installed cooling systems in all of its warehouses. How you gonna have Amazon workers are not just complaining in from Amazon to denial. They're not just complaining in the U.S. A 94-page report detailing poor working conditions at a Chinese Amazon facility has emerged barely 2 months after Amazon was accused of overly strict rules on breaks in its UK fulfillment center. Assembling Echo speakers for all of us who use Echoes and Kindles for all of us who use Kindle and the Kindle app, like all of that stuff is like you connect it into their system, you're supporting the system. You know, even when you're not necessarily thinking about it in that way, it's connected, it's connected, it's connected. How can you fully, you know, this concept of separating and opting out, how do you actually do that? You know, practically and pragmatically. Alexa, I should have known. Get her, Sonia. So anyway, Oprah made Amazon by promoting it on her show. There was a documentary called The Oprah Effect, which talked about, you know, when the stuff was featured on her show, how it just blew up. Companies would have to, they websites would go down. They couldn't handle the phone calls. They just were. Woman whose baby was kidnapped. Woman whose baby was kidnapped as infant says daughter must choose between 2 moms. She has to pick one of us. Now this whole story, is it the child's name Camilla Mobley, who was on the Oprah network with Oprah could have done wonders for Black home businesses. Shake and talking Amazon out for the last 20 minutes, and you think they ain't bad? Are they good? I think Amazon might be bad. I might have to disagree, T-Rack. Iyanla, Fix My Life. Oh, thank you. Iyanla. So this child who she was kidnapped at birth from the hospital. Oh, excuse them. We excuse them. But some people say that the scuttlebutt about Amazon has been out here for years. The people knew. And then okay. So the child was kidnapped at birth by somebody who was posing to be it's not a good company, by someone who was posing to be a nurse. She took the child, raised the child for 18 years. Around 16ish, the child realized that was not her mama, that something was going on. The mama ended up getting arrested. Here recently, she's been convicted. The child got reunited with her or the young woman got reunited with her birth family. We saw her on Iyanla Fix My Life. She seemed like she was in deep distress. She seemed like she was deeply conflicted about her loyalty to the person who raised her, who I do consider her mother, and the person who was her birth mother. I think her mother is her kidnapper and her Walmart on steroids without borders or limits. Damn. They are Walmart of the digital world. Yeah. So, but what I think is interesting about this story, or what I was thinking about in terms of this story, is like the Stockholm syndrome, or maybe we should start calling it is the child's name Camilla? The Camilla syndrome, because I think of us as Africans who were kidnapped and enslaved and raised up in this country. It's like, this is our home. This is our mama. We don't necessarily, even though we know that Mama Africa is mama in a way, it's almost like that's your birth mama or your ancestral birth mama from a long, long time ago. But it's not the same as the mama who raised you, who you're familiar with, who may not be perfect, but you know, and you kind of understand what to expect. And then don't let your behind go to Africa and have some Africans or encounter some African to you or something you don't like, then you really don't want to. So the Camilla dealt with her birth family. Her birth family seems like a little bit on the, They don't seem to have like the greatest consciousness, and they don't seem to understand like the child will be conflicted. She gonna need support, she gonna need help, and probably for all her life she's gonna think of that person as her mother because that person raised her. And so it's sort of like that's like how, you know, like I feel like we as African Americans or Americans in Africa or Africans in America, or what, you know, I always say American Africans, but because it's sort of like, you know, America ain't the best mama to us. America has abused us, has treated us, New World African. America has treated us like boo boo, but it's like your mama. Like when you see children in foster care, the children in foster care, they want to be with their mothers for the most part. That's just how it is. There's something about, you know, your mother, you know, and I feel like in a way, you know, we've been here for generations, and you know our blood, sweat, and tears is in this. So I just think it's very confusing for us, and I can understand and relate to how she's confused and how she feels a certain, I don't know, how she feels a certain way. I don't want to talk about it much longer, but yeah. And her mother is like, she has to pick one of us. She has to, and I feel like I don't really think that her birth mother should be coming from that perspective, but her birth mother seems like she needs more support. But I just think it's like Africans in America, like, you know, who are you, mom? Have y'all read that book, the little children's book, United Africans? United Africans. You know, when the duck gets separated from its mother, I think it's a duck, I don't know, but it's one of my favorites. And it goes around and it sees a dog and it's like, are you my mother? And then it sees you my mother, and then it sees a bike and it's like, are you my mother? Like it's looking for its mother. I like, and then it finds its mother. Is that what it's called? Are you my mother? Yeah, finally it finds its mother, but I kind of feel like we're like, you know, we're a little like out here lost, and like it, I don't think it's a Dr. Seuss book. I hope it's not a Dr. Seuss book because I like, I some of my favorite books are Dr. Seuss books, and now I have to put them down because I've learned too much about him to enjoy him anymore. But I still enjoy it out. It is written by Dr. Seuss. Oh no. Very sad. He was a racist. He was an asshole. Virulent racist. Do you like my hat? My favorite, my favorite was green eggs and ham. I know it by heart. And I'm gonna have to unlearn it. Well, I know the Paperback Princess is not by Dr. Seuss, so that's gonna be my favorite book for now. But I did like Sam I Am. Oh, wait, I am Sam I Am. That's Sam I Am. That's Sam I Am. I do not like that Sam I Am. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like green eggs and ham. Anyway, let me stop. I like that book. I love me some green eggs and Sam, just like Walt Disney. My childhood is all jacked up. That's what we were talking about, the double consciousness. And it's sort of like you're connected to the story, and then you're connected to like their whole philosophy of life without even realizing it. You're internalizing, and some, you know, like some of that poison, you know. Do you like them in a box? Do you like them with a fox? Well, the good thing is that I don't know where my children's book collection is, so I don't have to worry about throwing them out. Speaking in code, he is probably being like, I hate black people. Black people ain't shit. And I'm like, I love Dr. Seuss. I didn't know. I didn't discover Dr. Seuss until I was grown. Y'all see that big old dog? All them long legs. I know, Bella. Moving on from Dr. Sleuth. U.S. to hire slew. See, even Bella is upset about the whole Dr. Seuss thing. A killer. Can we meet much later? I feed this baby to my alligator. I feed this baby to my alligator. Yeah, I've read some analysis of Dr. Seuss, and yep, Disney put out Black Panther. It's difficult. And I think, like when I'm able to, now there are some places where I just separate, and it's sort of, it's just like when I became a vegetarian, I was like, well, I'm gonna stop eating pork. Wasn't really eating so much. I'm gonna stop eating. And for a long time, I used to eat, when I moved to York, I used to get a slice with pepperoni pizza. And by that time, supposedly I wasn't eating pork. I didn't know that pepperoni was pork. And so it's like, you think you separating from certain things and you don't even know you ingesting them. You know what I mean? So I thought I was, oh, I'm buffering. Am I still buffering? Am I buffering now? Right, definitely a process. But when I can, I do just separate as much as possible. Like if I ain't got to deal with certain stuff, it ain't no need for me to even start. You didn't know pepperoni was pork? I did not know. If somebody was out with me, they're like, why are you eating pepperoni? I'm like, I don't eat pork. And they're like, pepperoni is pork, dummy. They didn't say dummy, but I was like, oh. I didn't think it was chicken. I don't know what, I never really thought about it. I thought it was pepperoni. I guess I thought it was beef. I don't know. I knew about bacon. I knew about ham. I don't know nothing about no pepperoni. Just in the context of pizza. Bella got your back. Bella don't care nothing about me except for trying to rule me and run me and own me and stop me from petting other dogs. That's all she cares about. Spam is pork, right? A long time ago. I think I more or less got it sorted out, like gelatin, marshmallow, stuff like that. I learned over the years. Jiffy, it's a lot of. I don't even buy processed foods anymore. It's the porkiest pork there is. The only thing that's more pork than pepperoni is live pig. I'm so embarrassed. I should have never revealed that story, but it's true. But I'm just saying that to say, you think. Like when they were talking about like the kids, the students at Columbia were like, divest from apartheid. I mean, yeah, divest, Columbia, divest. And then they went to the and the people had Coca-Cola there, but somebody was like, Coca-Cola is, so they were like, it's spicy Spam. Ooh, when I grew up, I used to eat Spam. My mother I used to eat Spam and eggs and grits. I can't imagine eating meat out of a tin and Vienna sausages. I went through a thing. Well, my mother went through a thing in high school where she used to eat Vienna sausages. She goes through these phases of pigs to that because it looked like feet. Green eggs and Spam. It looked like feet, and I could never really get. I can't be down with eating feet. I know some of y'all are into whatever you into, and that's cool, but that was too much. U.S. to hire slew of lawyers, immigration officers to revoke citizenship for Americans who obtained it fraudulently. So to me, this sounds like disenfranchisement. Like when they're like, oh, you fake voted, you double voted. All of the black people who voted are basically fake votes. They're people who are double voting, fake voting. It's not real votes. They shouldn't be voting. We're expunging you from the polls. You're not allowed to vote. Green powdered eggs and Spam. I had some green eggs this morning. Kale. Because I stopped eating meat. Yeah, they say that White Castle burger is basically a soy burger. Pure scientific truth. So now people who are, I don't know who all of these illegal citizens are. I suspect that all of these illegal citizens are the same ones as all of these illegal voters that they're trying to purge from the voting rolls and prevent from voting and scare away. So, the government, the U.S. as in the government, as in, I guess, Jeff Sessions is hiring a slew of lawyers and immigration officers to revoke citizenship. So it's like the whiteification of America and the intimidation of black and brown folks and the disenfranchisement of black and, more of the same. this was interesting. Why Jada Pinkett? Now we heard about I heard about the Red Table Talk. It seemed like maybe a year ago. Food. You think so? What about McDonald's? That's not faux food. So we heard about these Red Table Talks. It seemed like maybe a year or 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden it seems like every episode we're getting talk bad about Black people. Right. Well, sometimes 17 ingredients in McDonald's fries. Oh wait, 19. And that's deep, isn't it? Because what's in a fry? A lot of those ingredients are those hidden things like that they put in like the orange juice that you get out of a container. Anything that comes out of a window. Yeah, and when I see something that has a commercial, it should be potatoes. It should be potatoes, salt, and some grease, some fat. 3 things. How else you make French fries? 10% of real potato. But you know how orange juice, when you get it out of the bottle, like I used to drink Tropicana, and I thought I was really doing something because I was drinking the Tropicana with the pulp in it. So I'm like, well, this is the most naturalist of the Tropicana. I grew up on White Castles. That was my ish. And then I read the article, and it's like, why do all of the orange juices taste the same? Like, why does when I buy Tropicana orange juice, every bottle tastes exactly the same? And I'm like, yeah, if I buy a bag of oranges, even if they can't, none of them all taste exactly the same. But the Tropicana does kind of all taste the same, doesn't it? And it's like flavor pack technology. And that's what they use a lot on these fries. And these, it's like some of the ingredients are ingredients that don't even have to be listed. No, don't check their veggie burger. Stay away from White Castles. They use real eggs, though. I was there the other day, and I'm like, there's eggs on the counter. I was kind of surprised. I'm like, I'm scared of what the eggs are, but anyway, they use real eggs. It seems like one patty with McDonald's uses real eggs too. Oh, I didn't know. I thought they were using some kind of, I don't know, some kind of chemical or something. I don't know. I think it's toxic waste hidden in the burgers, fries, pies, and soda. Hide it from the EPA and make it profit. Capitalism 101. No, stay away from White Castle. I was there right. Stay away. I was just there the other day. It was good. It wasn't good. It's kind of like it's challenging. And I was thinking about it the other day because I found out, I told y'all this, it was National Donut Day the other day, and I ate 3 donuts. Now, I'm trying to remember the last time I had a donut before that, but it's like in certain environments, I have to get a strategy for being in certain environments because, it's like it's a million probably. I don't know. Because it's like a whole new challenge. Like at home, like I would never go to a donut place or buy donuts or, so it's like in different environments, it's a whole new set of challenges that I just wasn't conscious. It's like before I knew it, I had eaten three donuts and other things, they come by and they're like, oh, it's like always all of this mess and confusion. So I gotta tighten up my game for the food does not taste the same. I got to tighten up my game for, every environment. I got to have I got to rework my strategy. Why Jada Pinkett Smith talks to daughter Willow about orgasm addiction. I was like, what in the world? And it kind of made me think about grow your own food, T-Rack. It kind of made me think about, again, this whole conversation that I feel like we need to be, I don't know, it's something about the way that the Smiths, the Will and Jada Smith and how they interact with their children. It's something that resonates with me. I feel like a lot of this stuff is not talked about, and I feel like who better to talk about it and who better to get perspective from than your mother, you know what I mean? And it was the mother who said she has an orgasm addiction and she's talking to her daughter about it. And I just thought that's really smart, I feel like, we look to our parents for so much information and guidance and like understanding, and like what's more primal and critical, than our relationship to other people, through our sexuality. I mean, there are other things, but it's something that we don't really talk about it, but not quite. I missed it. So at first I was kind of like, I felt myself being like, what in the world? But my Catholic school upbringing, my prudishness, um, but not quite. So I don't know if we talked about it yesterday or if I saw it right after we got off the news, but Oakland jogger throws homeless black man's belongings into lake made famous by Barbecue Becky. So the man's jogging, the other man's stuff is there, and he started throwing the man's stuff in the lake. Just mean, petty, ugly, hostile, aggressive. I guess that's how colonialism works. Jada Pinkett Smith's mom is gorgeous. Like just harassing people, displacing people, like I just aggressively and just with disrespect, and it's just so ugly and mean. It's so ugly and mean-spirited. Missouri woman joins the unemployment line with other racists after NIGGE. I guess I don't know what the reason was, but I think that the general thing is they feel like Oakland is their community, or now they've claimed it. I think it's a gentrification thing. I think they feel like they don't want to see homeless people in their community. They don't want to see black people in their community. They don't want to see poor people in their community. And so they're just aggressively, blight removal, like this is blight. We're removing it, with no care, sensitivity, thought to, the humans. I want this house. I want to move into this neighborhood. I want to move into this community. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know if white people can leave us alone. I think it's kind of like, now that I have like more obsessions in my life, I think it's kind of like the obsessions. I think you like just obsess over things. And like, I think that they're like obsessed. I think they're obsessed. I think they're like amazed and awed, and we're their fuel. I think they get energy from us. I think when we it's like if you're breaking up a relationship and you try to like ignore the person and the person tries to draw you back in, it's like that energy, that dynamic are coming to Oakland and trying to take over. They don't even know why they can't leave us alone. Yeah, maybe. I think it's genetic. I think it's other stuff. I think, it's like the woman said in the Blackness Project. She's like, I look at black men and they're gorgeous. And I think that's like how they feel. I think they look at us and they're like, we're gorgeous, we're amazing, we're brilliant, we dance. I think black people are just like, wow. I mean, that's how I feel about us, but I think they feel like that about us too. And it probably is genetic. Like probably from the first time they encountered us, they were like, damn. And they just can't get us out of their system, Black on black energy can power us to freedom. They know that. To them, we're like parents. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they despise us because they're not us. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like intimidate. Yeah, if we ignore them long enough, it will definitely destroy them. Right. And that I think is the trick, because I noticed like as we talk to each other, it's like it's a loop that we like. There's like you can get caught, and then you're like in the vortex of talking about them and feeding them and giving them energy. And I don't think it really serves us. I have heard people say, we have to analyze the enemy. We have to we have to understand this system, but I'm not quite sure I believe that. I don't know. I'm trying to understand. Right, right, right. I think they have an inferiority complex. Because I think it's not even like I think, you're not even trying to be like, you ain't nothing. You so dumb. You just being you. And they feel intimidated and they feel I mean, I've definitely had that experience, where I'm like, what's going on? Because of York, he was their lucky charm. The natives saw him as a big medicine spirit. I don't know anything about Lewis and Clark. Um, so they say in Mrs. Missouri Woman. That's why I think something like when we say white superiority, actually, I think it's like a mind game that we're feeding into. Like I think that we're telling ourselves and them that they're superior. You know, I'm not. Yeah, I need somebody who's a deep thinker to like write the think piece that I can read and be like, "Yup, that's what I've been feeling." Right. But that's just so ignorant. Like it doesn't work. You can't knock nobody down low enough to make you better than you are. I mean, knocking somebody down, I mean, it's just I don't have to say that to y'all, but I mean, it don't really work. Yeah, they promised him his freedom. Did anybody see the piece that they had on TV1 about people who were locked up for years and then got free? It's a weekly series, and I can't remember who the attorney was, but I was really curious to see it. I thought maybe I was going to see some of the people who were angry about being locked up unjustly. By saying it goes into our subconscious, self-fulfilling prophecy makes it true to those that are not woke. It's like we got this obsessed mentality, but we can't break out of this bondage. Yeah. But I feel like there's a lot of things in place to kind of, they know that our melanin is magic. You should see the stares I get at the shore. It's hilarious. Not one drop of sunscreen needed. Right. That's why they caught in the, yeah. Yeah. So I think, we need to, as much as we can. It's every time I get, oh yeah, hi Kendrick. Every time I get conscious of, it's like I know what I want to put my energy into. And so for the most part, and I definitely know that I don't have any energy and I'm not interested in feeding BS. So because you can't really fight truth. You can't really fight. You can't, I mean, it's some, yeah, let's keep moving. Missouri woman joins the unemployment line with other racists after NIGGER hunting video goes viral. So we've been talking about this. I'm not quite sure that they're joining the unemployment line. I think that they're just realigning into businesses that are like, we're here for your type of belief system. We're here for your value system. Welcome, brother and sister. We're glad that you found us. I think they're outing themselves so that they can more effectively find each other and connect with each other and support each other. And that's what I think is going on. I don't think they in the unemployment line. I mean, I just I just don't believe that. Stop flaunting yourself before the enemy. How is that helping us? And then it's like, are you flaunting or are you just like, walking around? Like that's kind of like I kind of feel like this whole conversation about like some of them can't be in the sun for 10 minutes without getting burned. I'm just getting more dark and lovely. But that's kind of like how I feel. Like, I feel like, as a woman, I know some people are like, oh, well, cover yourself up. And I feel like I don't feel like covering myself up. So is that flaunting myself or am I just doing what I feel and expressing myself? Like, who's to define? Like, sometimes I want to be covered up and sometimes I don't. Sometimes you may want to not be in the sun and sometimes you may want to be in the sun. Is that flaunting? Be very quiet. Uh, can it just be enjoying yourself and enjoying life and like just being who you, I don't know. I mean, I do know. I'm not, no. Stranded migrants. Macron. Who is Macron? Elmer Fudd. Be very, very quiet. I don't know how Elmer Fudd talks. I don't know how Elmer Fudd talks. Isn't that Disney? Stranded Mike French. Oh, okay. Macron scolds Italy over Aquarius ship. So Italy, there was a shock about, I think, Warner's. Okay. Are they? Oh, no. We can't do mourners either. There was a ship with, I think, about 650. It was a large number of people on it, and they were trying to immigrate from, I guess, Africa into Europe. They were stranded. The Italians took them in yesterday, I guess, said, well, we'll take them in because they didn't want a humanitarian crisis, I guess, because it was a relatively large number of people. And now Macron, who's the president of France, who we hate, we I hate France. Do we all hate France? Are we in agreement? Can we conversate and get in agreement? Can we have a conversation and agree that we hate France? Italy is going broke. So what they need, maybe that's why his brother is scolding him. Like, what you doing taking in them Negroes? Y'all ain't got no money. Y'all ain't got no y'all ain't got no system where the African nations and Haiti pay y'all money every month. How you gonna support? My last name is from France. Yeah, I thought you were Haitian. So anyway, Italy is putting out all of the African immigrants. Well, they accepted this ship Aquarius. Yeah, that's a whole conversation. Yeah, I have to process that some more because there's like you can get like piecemeal pieces of things like, oh well, Trump pardoned the black woman, so you could take that and run with it and be like, well, Zero loves black people. Italy accepted the Aquarius in, like you get pieces of stuff. That's the trying to synthesize stuff and understand stuff. And why did the French plant trees on both sides of the streets? Are you making up this joke on the spot? So many immigrants are leaving Africa, yet we were talking about us Black Americans going to Africa because the Germans like to walk in the shade. I wonder of the thousands or whatever of people who are leaving Africa, what percentage of the people on the continent or on Al Kibalan that represents? Like, is it a large percentage or is it not a large percentage? The African continent, there's a lot of impoverishment due to the exploitation by Europeans. And so I wonder about that. I think that in a lot of African places, or in like, I don't know, but I think that in some places there's like a big divide. I first noticed it in New York. Like, there's like the poor and the rich, and it seems like sometimes there's like no like meeting of the two, but like in a place where there's so much poverty, there's so much wealth. And then when I went to India, I was like, oh my God, it's even more extreme poverty and even more extreme wealth. Oh, maybe it's a long-standing. Oh, well, Bonafide got it. Um, and so I suspect that there are some Africans who some people like Nigeria. There are some people who are doing very well, and I suspect that there are some people who are not doing very well. I think that when a lot of Americans move, or a lot of Black Americans move and relocate, but due to education, due to other situations, when you relocate, you're not necessarily in the situation where you're living in extreme poverty. And also, I think your consciousness, like I could probably live in extreme poverty now and have a whole different consciousness of it than before. Um, like I feel like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we hustle so hard to get, I don't know if I necessarily, feel, I think I feel daily less and less committed to that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of that stuff is BS and it keeps you on the wheel so that you can keep the BS going. And I feel like I just feel like I think I'm opting out of like more and more stuff. Like, I'm just not interested, like I really think it's adding value. I don't think it's making me happier. If it's not making me happier, what is it doing? It's stressing me out. Is it making me smarter? Is it making me more fabulous? Like, what is it doing? Like, I feel like if you have a car that gets around, or if you can get, I don't know. I mean, and I have been in a luxury car. And so, but it's sort of like, I feel like the value added of the luxury, which can be nice, is it proportional to the cost? And I think more and more, I think for a lot of stuff, I say no, you know. So I could probably live someplace and just like, lay down on the ground on a mat, go out and walk on the beach, eat some bananas. I mean, listen to somebody play the drums, read a book. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's probably considered extreme poverty, but I don't know if I would feel impoverished. So I'm me relocating. If I like relocated to the African continent now, what the person attaches to it. If I relocated to I might the way I'm looking to live might be totally different, and I might have a whole, you know, oh, thank you, thank you, Kendrick. I might have a whole different perspective on it now, than when I was like, caught up, I don't, yeah. So I think I see you were saying, why are we trying to get to Africa when so many people are trying to get out? And I think I think it's a valid question, and I think it's a good conversation. I think we should, you know, I know why I am. I don't know about you and your experience and your value system, and I don't know, you know. And then I also, yeah, I feel like some of the stuff that I feel attached to here, I feel like it's BS. You know what I mean? Like, well, if I was in Africa, I wouldn't have the internet, or some parts of Africa is the possession of 7 belongings. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. But I think capitalism, like, I think that well, I can't talk about you, but I think, I have certainly been guilty of being caught up. Leaves lots of land grabs up for Europeans. Africans leaving here, or Africans leaving there. Because shoot, they grabbing the land out from under you when you write it in it. Let me keep going. It's 250. Oh my God. Oh my God. Director, look, this is from Cinetopia. Director Kassim Basir talks about art imitating life and the winding road to his ambitious new film, A Boy, a Girl, a Dream. And guess what? I don't know if I told anybody this yet, and I haven't talked about it, but it's a one-shot film. I never really heard of this concept. What things we own and what things own us. Yeah. um it's a um it's a concept. It's like a thing where it's sort of like theater, where you just go through the film instead of like going through 4 or 5 minutes or 4 or 5 pages and then going through it, like you just go through the whole film and they keep shooting. And so it seems like the film stars Amari Hardwick and Megan Good. I saw it the other day. I feel like I have a booger in my nose. As far as Kassim Basir knows, he just accomplished something no other black filmmaker has to date. He shot a feature-length film with an all-black cast as a oneer. A oneer is a movie that is filmed in one long continuous shot. There are no cuts. In the oneer world, there are no do-overs either, only start over. So yeah, he kind of talked about that my car is owning me. Booger. I don't know. Maybe it's the you know, like maybe I'm having a I have a cousin who says that she's like allergic to like when they tested her for allergies, she's like basically allergic to like Mother Nature. She didn't say that, but that's what I'm like. Like, I'm like, how is that even? I don't even understand the concept. So anyway, let me keep moving. So that's my we have to be careful with areas due to vicious weather patterns caused by climate change. I think it's climate change, and then I think they also have this thing where they like are creating weather, a thing or systems or experiments. What's the difference between peas and a booger? It's some people in the world who are really very silly. He probably shot it as a missing scene. I don't know what that is. You can get a child to eat peas. I've heard that joke before, Yapo, from you. Weather manipulation, harp, etc. Yeah. Um, okay. So yeah, check him out if you're into film, because he did reference other film, like, there is a context within which he decided to do the work, but I wasn't familiar, so I was just like, oh, it kind of reminds you of theater. Um, Inactive voters can be purged from voting rolls following new Supreme Court ruling. I think we talked about that yesterday. Jocelyn Hernandez starts up another beef with Stevie J for tweeting he's ready for a wife. Try sinus rinses. That helps. Buffered saline rinses wash out the allergens, all natural, no side effects. It's French. It means one take in film. Right. Hence why I say don't something. Yeah. So I like right now I'm just noticing like this nostril in particular. Did y'all see the episode of Seinfeld where the person was doing like this, but the person on the other side thought they were digging in the car, thought they were digging up there? Y'all don't watch Seinfeld, do you? Me Sun Sin. I saw it. You watch Seinfeld? I used to love that show. I thought it was so funny. So silly. Okay. So this whole thing with Jocelyn, it was pretty funny. This whole thing with Jocelyn Hernandez and Stevie J is kind of interesting. Just like, not for them specifically, no black folks though. And then whenever they would have black folks, apparently they'd be like, be blacker, and do that whole stupid thing. And it's like, I've been to New York City. I lived in New York City at the time, and there are black folks, but I also feel like you could live in certain circles and not interact with black folks. Like when my mother went downtown Detroit, she's like, if you didn't know black folks lived here, you wouldn't know that there were any black folks in Detroit. Nah, I couldn't get into Seinfeld. Oh my God. There was this one episode where they were waiting in the restaurant. You know, like how you go to a restaurant and you're waiting to get seated and you're so hungry, and you see all of the people eating and the food looks so good, and you just want to go up to somebody's plate and be like, let me just have a bite of this just to hold me over till I get seated. But you're not going to do that. And then that's what they did. A show about nothing. That was the whole concept. But it was something. Like the soup Nazi, I've been there before. There are lots of things that were funny, but I guess everybody's sense of humor is different. Racist white supremacist Jews. I know, and see, that's what we were talking about Dr. Seuss, about Disney, about Amazon, about, it's like, how do you live in the world in an honorable way? How do you work in the world in an honorable way? How do you move in the world in an honorable way and not be connected with and participating in and supporting and engaging in and enjoying BS? So, and that's like, people are like, I'm gonna listen to R. Kelly. I don't care because I like his music. And I can, I on right, that's true. It is difficult. And on one hand, I feel like I'm probably not gonna like go back and watch Seinfeld. I don't know if I will or I won't. Hoodwinked, bamboozled. I don't know if I will or I won't. But the things that I can cut off, I cut off. And I figure the practice of cutting off makes me stronger in cutting off other things. And so I'll be less and less attached to more and more of the BS. So what I can cut off, I do. Peace, my brother. Are y'all film people together? Okay, let me keep going. So Jocelyn Hernandez, what was interesting to me about this is that I never cared for Seinfeld. I have oh my gosh, a John Wayne. Ooh. So he tweeting he ready for love. She mad, and she started up a beef with him because they used to be together. But I just think it's kind of like, in terms of our relationships with people, how are we relating to each other? Are we relating to each other like, I love you, I wish you well. If it work out, it don't work out, I wish you well. Are we relating to each other where like, if it don't work out with me, I hope you go to hell, and like, how can we mature and how can we like develop in a way that is productive and loving and humane and kind and sane? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that how she's behaving is necessarily out of alignment with the way that a lot of I just collect with a lot of, the way that a lot of us are, even if it's in small ways. Our beef may not be on the internet, but or on the internet, but it may show other ways. I got so many death threats. Dennis Rodman launched into an emotional monologue on CNN. Death of another U.S. soldier in Somalia may reignite criticism of counterterrorism efforts in Africa. Trump's economic advisor suffers heart attack, tweets the president. I wonder if the White House ever issued an official statement, or the tweets are the official statements now. Hey, Augustines. John Wayne was definitely a racist. Down Home with the Neely star Pat Neely secretly remarried last year. His wife is expecting. We saw his ex-wife on To Rome with Love, like the show that sort of kind of seemed like it was promoting international interracial dating. Lil Wayne accused of hate crime. Lil Wayne accused of hate crime. Now, he certainly committed a lot of hate crimes against Black women. For allegedly calling a man white boy during scuffle. So it's interesting how, in some situations, it gets very confusing to them. Was it a hate crime? Was it a hate crime? Lil Wayne is a hate crime. Is it a hate crime when it has to do with hate certain behaviors toward Black and brown people? But when it comes to Black and brown people, they be like, oh, he said white boy, hate crime, send him to jail. A walking crime against Black people. You ain't never, I don't know, but I mean, I certainly got that impression. He's a crime against himself. I feel sad for him. I don't know what he needs. Well, I watched a whole bunch of Black films at the film festival. Y'all should subscribe to Scoville, Scoville, SKOVU TV. It's Black movies, films, independent Black films like The Blackness Project. Maybe that's the answer, or the beginning of the answer. Does the U.S. have a pet tiger problem? I clicked on this thing. It said that we have more tigers in captivity in this country than are free in the rest of the world. This coming off of BBC. I don't know if I got that wrong or not, but that was deep. And the image was like this tiger laying on the ground, and this woman was like laid up, like up against her, the tiger, like, that was her man, And I didn't really have time to read it, but I'm like, what in the world is what's really going on? Stanford's new lab could make particle accelerators 1,000 times smaller. This is like a throwback to my first marriage. That's where I heard of particle accelerators. That's how it's in my timeline. I don't know. I have no comment. I don't know anything about a particle accelerator. This 26-year-old Fortnite streamer says she paid off her mom's debt with her Twitch earnings. With her Twitch earnings. So Twitch is sort of like YouTube. I'm not really familiar with Twitch, but this is somebody who plays games and the people watch. And I've met some gamers on YouTube. I guess I just don't understand the concept. Oh, I used to like Sims, like the simulate. It was like it was a game that was designed for urban planners. I used to like Sim City. And then when I started like getting into games, I like looked up the Sims, but the Sims and Sim City, they kind of in the same family, but I like Sim City, not the Sims. They got to tranquilize the tiger for that. Really? For her to lay on them like that? That's not her pet and her friend, her buddy, her girlfriend, her sister, her friend. It's a whole nother, a wild animal. I didn't know. Yeah, they trying to punch a hole into another dimension to escape the mess they made. Portals to invite in demonic entities. Good news report, June the 11th. The Black Man Can nonprofit organization is celebrating boys and men of color. So check out the Black Man Can. This story is coming off the griot. I'm running on. Facebook provides 452-page answer to congressional questions. So apparently during the congressional, oh, you saw it about the tiger problem. They always want to put something in bondage. give us free. Okay. So apparently when the man was testifying before Congress, out of his answers, he was like, "Well, I'll have to get back to you with that. I'll have to get back to you with that. I'll have to get back to you with that." So, do you think that if someone is gay, that everything that they say you should throw away, or it has no value, or no, it's not valid? Like, I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't really understand. I have a theory that the move from dimension to dimension, effing them up and leaving for another one to start from scratch. Yeah. But that's how it seems like. I mean, that seems to be consistent with how they move. It has a gay agenda for the black community. I hear y'all talking about that. I think that whole thing confuses me. Like, I don't know. Maybe I need to get more information. I'm eating. So when he testified before Congress, he like, I gotta get back to you about that. I gotta get back to you about that. Apparently, I don't know. Just like Huffington Post Black Voices. Now, a lot of their stuff I read, I think is interesting. So maybe I'm just like buying into something, or being fed stuff like all the other stuff that I'm just not conscious of. Am I turning gay? I think I'm like heterosexual. Like, I don't know. Like, what does it mean? That's a whole nother conversation. I don't have time, but I really don't understand it. Well, I feel like, why do you have to stand with his lifestyle? Is James Baldwin asking you to have sex with him? I can't get into this conversation now because I don't know how much longer. I only have a few more minutes. Eritrean ICE detainee kills himself at Egyptian airport. Family wants answers. So, I guess he was trying to come to America. He was at the airport in Egypt. This is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Dang, I don't have time to look at this. I think that's the situation. And they were like, no, you can't come to America. So he killed himself. And now his family is like, what's up? So I don't really know what the story is, but I want to know more. Catalan village women vote for topless bathing after row at pool. See, I'm not familiar with anything I guess I think I've read like some of his things where he wrote about, or, I think I saw a movie and I might have learned something about his experience, as a gay person. But like, I feel like he seems very insightful in terms of his analysis of things relating to black folks. But I mean, I feel like that's all a part of who he is. So I don't understand why I should be mad at it. Like, it's just like anybody. Some parts you like, vibe with, some parts you don't, some parts you like, some parts you don't like, some parts are for you, some parts, like, nobody is gonna be just like you. I don't know, that's a whole, I can't. Why you should go to Ghana, the ultimate 1 week itinerary for your Ghana trip. That's coming off of onikathetraveler.com. She's like a travel blogger. Ooh, a 1 week trip to Ghana. What does she have on the itinerary? Where are we going? What are we gonna do? Let's go. Okay. Scientists shocked by mysterious deaths of ancient trees. Oh, I can't talk about that, but that looked like an interesting story. Because we have these trees here in this park and they're dying, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? It seems like trees are dying, like, and they say that trees communicate underneath the ground. So, and sometimes trees, they say that they grow up in community families. And if you look where, people aren't manicuring them, you do see them growing up together, terraforming. Is that what it's called when they grow up in communities and families? So yeah, chemtrails and radiation. Okay. So ancient trees. Net neutrality ends today. Was that yesterday or was that today? Fukushima. Michigan man reportedly runs girlfriend over with his car, killing her, then tries to cover it up. Thirst trap or cry for help. Maybe it's both. Kay, what's her face? Topless live stream, possible sign of deepless issues. So I guess Kay Michelle did a topless live stream. I don't know anything about it. But what I did think is interesting is that maybe maybe a lot of times when people are thirsty, it's a cry for help. Like when you say, oh, she's just thirsty. Maybe they want love and attention like everybody else. A thirsty cry for help. Right. Everybody wants love and attention, and people use whatever strategies they have to try to get love and attention. You are my only exposure to celebrities. Yeah, YouTube, I think, is mine, but I don't have a good. I remember people would be like, "Oh, so and so and so and so," and I'm like, "Who is that?" And I'm thinking it's somebody I know and somebody in my community that I'm like, "That name sound familiar. Who is that?" And it would be a famous person. I'm like, I don't know anything about them. Do they know me? And now I know all this random stuff about people who I don't even know, and it's kind of foolish and embarrassing to me in a way. I don't know how I feel, but somehow I've gotten sucked into the foolish vortex. Just a little bit, like this finger over here. Not the rest of me. But that's coming off of Straight from the A, which is a blog that I started listening to because I watched the woman on YouTube. I mean, I started following her blog because I watch her on YouTube. And so the whole way that I got connected with her is through some mess. And it's really just, I should be ashamed. I think there's something foolish about all of us changing the atmosphere to make it conducive to a particular species. It sounds like something from a science fiction book. Tim Norman and Jennifer Williams' requests for permanent restraining orders against each other have been rejected. That's why they're spreading chemtrails. Oh, trying to blot out the sun. Oh. Arizona man arrested 1 year after making bomb threats against Harvard's black student body. I don't know if I heard about it, but the man was arrested. I don't really know what the story is. Plane diverted to Shannon Airport after bomb threat message. Somebody went in the bathroom, and I guess it was a message in the bathroom that's like, it's a bomb or whatever. I'm threatening you with the bomb. And so they were supposed to be going to, dang, I can't remember. It seemed like they were going to Boston or something like that. And, so they ended up going to Ireland, and now they doing handwriting tests on the people. The last I heard, Dorothy Cotton, civil rights pioneer and Martin Luther King colleague, dies. Now, when I first saw this headline, I'm like, who is Dorothy Cotton? I'm not going to deal with this. And then I'm like, well, I'm trying to pay more attention to women who have, I feel like in my real life, you always see women involved with struggle. You always see women doing the work. But then, when you look at the history records, it's like, it's hard to find a woman. I can't stand that. Like black folks, we do all the work. And then you look at history or his story. It's like, where the black folks? So I know it's some bull. So I was like, well, let me look and see who this person is. I was resistant. And then the way the story is written, they're like, according to the King found, it was like almost like we don't know this person and somebody made them write the story. So my resistance to reading it seemed to correspond to their resistance to even covering. So I don't know who Mama Dorothy Cotton is, but rest in peace. That's the bomb. On one of the reality shows, they say that this guy came in and made a bomb threat, and Phaedra is like, he didn't make a bomb threat. He came in and he had his CD and he was like, this is the bomb. And the white people didn't understand, and so they called his story, and so they called the cops. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. Who is that? Dang, I gotta go. Dang, it was right on the tip of my tongue. A high school baseball pitcher consoled his childhood friend before celebrating his win, and people love his sportsmanship. I thought that was a nice story. The Gap Band. Yes, I saw them perform 1 year. It must have been the state fair. That's a long time ago. Oh, and Morris Day. Dang, what was that? Dang, I can't remember. It was a dance that went with this song, a stupid dance, but it was fun. U.S. arrests 74 in global email scam crackdown. The Time. But what was that dance? Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kandi Burruss secures new sexy Oak Tree, new sexy talk show with Bravo, Kandi Coded Nights. What was interesting to me is that Kandi has been doing her blog for She's been doing Candy Coated Nights forever. As an independent thing, and now she has a broadcast show. That child, that woman, that girl child, she knows she stayed making money. Black man convicted of killing 3 adults and a baby may receive new trial. Lava is still tearing through Hawaii as the Kilauea volcano continues to erupt. Here's what it looks like on the ground. Dang, I don't know how far. And look, they right on the porch. Florida teen raised by kidnapper refuses to let mom go. U.S. rejects asylum case in landmark ruling. We talked about that. A 2-year-old girl went missing for 2 days. Her dog stayed by her side the entire time and is being hailed a hero. I'm glad the baby is back. 5 money secrets self-made millionaires teach their kids. The dramatically different morning routines of Americans at every income level. I felt that this was misleading. Mars Opportunity rover is in danger of dying from a dust storm. That's it. That's this edition of Notes on the News. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I was trying to get my... Damn, I'm old. No, I'm not dying. Everybody's dying, or are we living, transitioning? What are you saying? What are you saying? I don't understand. So today is the best day ever. Be you, be fabulous you. It's on purpose that we're all here together.
Hey, hey, hey. Be you. Be fabulous.
Oh, the Mars probe dying. I know, I just read the headline. I'll live forever. Be fabulous you. Who we gonna be if you ain't you? Who we gonna be if we ain't we? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous you. Peace. Thank you. Y'all see Bella popped her head up. I'm more immortal. I will be more me. That's right. Bella popped her head up when she heard the music. She know that's the end. All right. Bye. Thank you.